And Solomon son of David prevailed over his kingdom. And the Lord his God was with him, and magnified him highly. And Solomon spoke to all Israel, to the officers of thousands, and the officers of hundreds, and the judges, and all the rulers before Israel, to the rulers of the paternal families. And Solomon and all the assembly with him went to the high ground that was in Gabaon, there where God's tent of witness was, which Moses, servant of the Lord, had made in the wilderness. But David had carried God's ark up from the city of Kiriatharim, for he had prepared a tent for it in Jerusalem. And the bronze altar, which Bezaleel son of Urias, son of Hor, had made, was there before the Lord's tent. And Solomon and the assembly sought it out. And there Solomon offered on the bronze altar in the tent before the Lord, and offered on it 1,000 whole burnt offerings. In that night God appeared to Solomon and said to him, Ask what I should give you. And Solomon said to God, You have done great mercy with David my father, and have made me king in his stead. And now, Lord God, let your name be confirmed over David my father, because it is you who have made me king over a people as numerous as the dust of the earth. Now grant me wisdom and understanding, and I will go out and will go in before this people, because who will judge this great people of yours? And God said to Solomon, Since this was in your heart, and you have not asked for wealth of possessions nor glory, nor have you asked for the life of your opponents and for many days, and you have asked for wisdom and understanding for yourself, in order to judge my people, those over whom I have made you king. I grant you wisdom and understanding, and I give you both wealth and possessions and glory. As there has been none like you among the kings before you, and after you it shall not be so. And Solomon came from Bama in Gabaon to Jerusalem, from before the tent of witness, and ruled over Israel. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And he stationed them in the chariot cities, and the people were with the king in Jerusalem. And the king placed gold and silver in Jerusalem, like stones in the cedars in Judea, like mulberry trees that are in the plain in abundance. And the export of Solomon's horses was from Egypt, and the price of the king's merchants. They would buy to trade, and they would go up and bring back from Egypt 1 chariot for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And thus they would bring for all the kings of the Kettites, and the kings of Syria by their hands. And Solomon said that he would build a house for the Lord's name, and a house for his reign. And Solomon gathered 70,000 men, and 80,000 stonecutters in the hill country, and the supervisors over them were 3,600. And Solomon sent to Hiram king of Tyre, saying, As you dealt with my father David, and dispatched to him cedars to build a house for him to dwell in, behold, I, his son, also am building a house for the name of the Lord my God, to dedicate it to him, to offer incense before him, and presentation always, and to present whole burnt offerings always, in the morning and evening, and on Sabbaths and on new moons, and on the feasts of the Lord our God. This is upon Israel forever. And the house which I am building is great, for great is our God compared with all the gods. And who will be able to build him a house? Because the sky and the sky of the sky cannot bear his glory. And who am I to build him a house, except to offer incense before him? And now send me a skilled man, and one who knows how to work in gold and in silver, and in bronze and in iron, and in purple and in scarlet and in blue, one who understands to engrave engraving, with the skilled men who are with me in Judah and in Jerusalem, whom my father David provided. And send me cedar wood and juniper and pine from Lebanon, for I know how your slaves know about cutting wood from Lebanon. See, your servants will be with my servants. They will go to prepare me timber in abundance, for the house I am about to build will be great and glorious. And see, I have given the workmen, those cutting wood, grain as food in payment to your servants, 20,000 cores, even 20,000 cores of barley, and 20,000 measures of wine, and 20,000 measures of oil. And Hiram king of Tyre said in writing and dispatched to Solomon, In his love for his people, the Lord has granted you as king over them. And Hiram said, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who made the heaven and the earth, who gave King David a wise son, and one who understands discretion and understanding, who will build a house to the Lord, and a house for his reign. Now I have sent you a skilled man, and one endowed with understanding, Hiram my father. His mother was of the daughters of Dan, and his father was a Tyrian man, since he knows how to work in gold, and in silver, and in bronze, and in iron, in stone and wood, and to weave in purple and in blue, and in linen and in scarlet, and to engrave engravings, and to visualize any design. Whatever you give him, together with your skilled men and the skilled men of David my lord your father. And now let him send to his servants the grain and the barley, and the oil and the wine of which my lord spoke. And we on our part shall cut wood from Lebanon, to meet your entire need, and will transport it on rafts to the sea of Joppa, and you will transport it to Jerusalem. And Solomon gathered all the men, the guests in the land of Israel after the census, which his father David had conducted of them, and they were found to be 153,600. And of them he made 70,000 into porters, and 80,000 into stonecutters, and 3,600 taskmasters over the people. And Solomon began building the Lord's house in Jerusalem, on the mountain of Moriah, where the Lord had appeared to David his father, in the place that David had prepared in the threshing floor of Ornah the Jebusite. And he began building in the 2nd month of the 4th year of his reign. And this is how Solomon began building the house of God. The length in cubits, the original measure, was 60 cubits, and the width 20 cubits. And there was an ilum in the front of the house. The length on face of the width of the house was 20 cubits, and its height was 120 cubits. And he gilded it internally with pure gold. And he lined the great house outside with cedar wood, and gilded it with pure gold, and engraved palms on it in chains. And he adorned the house with precious stones, for splendor, and with gold, gold that was from Pharuim. And he gilded the house and the walls and the gateways, and the ceilings and the doorways with gold, and engraved cherubim on the walls. And he made the house of the Holy of Holies. Its length on face of width was 20 cubits, and the breadth was 20 cubits. And he gilded it with pure gold, onto the cherubim, as much as 600 talents of gold. And the weight of the nails, the weight of one was 50 shekels of gold. And he gilded the upper chamber with gold. And in the house of the Holy of Holies he fashioned a work of 2 cherubim out of wood, and he gilded them with gold. And the cherubim's wings were 20 cubits in length, and the one wing was 5 cubits, touching the wall of the house, and the other wing was 5 cubits, touching the wing of the other cherub. And the wing of the one cherub was 5 cubits, touching the wall of the house, and the other wing was 5 cubits, touching the wing of the other cherub. And the wings of the cherubim extended 20 cubits, and they stood on their feet, and their faces were toward the house. And he made the veil out of blue and purple and scarlet and linen, and wove cherubim into it. And he made 2 pillars in front of the house, 35 cubits in height, and their tops 5 cubits. And he made Serseroth in the Debir, and placed them on the tops of the pillars. And he made 100 pomegranates, and set them on the chains. And he erected the pillars in front of the shrine, one on the right, and the other on the left. And he called the name of the one on the right, Uprightness, and the name of the one on the left, Strength. And he made the bronze altar, 20 cubits in length, and 20 cubits in width, and 10 cubits in height. And he made the molten sea, 10 cubits in diameter, circular all around, and it was 5 cubits in height, and its circumference was 30 cubits. And under it was a representation of bull calves. They encircled it on all sides, 10 cubits. They surrounded the wash basin in a circle. They cast the bull calves of 2 kinds in their casting, by which they made them. 12 bull calves, and 3 faced north, and 3 faced west, and 3 faced south, and 3 faced east. And the sea was on top of them, and their hindquarters were toward the inside. And its thickness was a handbreadth, and its rim was like the rim of a cup, carved with lily buds. It held 3,000 measures, and he completed it. And he made 10 washbasins, and set 5 of them on the right, and 5 on the left, to rinse the utensils for the whole burnt offerings in them, and wash them clean in them. And the sea was for the priests to wash in it. And he made the gold lampstands, 10 according to their prescription, and placed them in the shrine, 5 on the right, and 5 on the left. And he made 10 tables, and placed them in the shrine, 5 on the right, and 5 on the left. And he made 100 gold saucers. And he made the court of the priests, and the great court, and doors for the court in their doorways, overlaid with bronze. And he placed the sea at the corner of the house on the right, facing eastward. And Hiram made the meat hooks, and the fire pans, and the hearth for the altar, and all its utensils. And Hiram finished producing all the work which he did for Solomon the king, in the house of God. 2 pillars, and on them balls for the capitals on the tops of the 2 pillars, and 2 latticeworks to cover the tops of the pillars. And 400 golden bells on the 2 latticeworks, and 2 sorts of pomegranates on one of the latticeworks, to cover the capitals of the pillars. And he made the 10 mechanoth, and he made the washbasins on the mechanoth, and the 1 sea, and the 12 bull calves beneath it, and the tripods, and pails, and cauldrons, and meat hooks, and all their utensils, which Hiram had made and brought to King Solomon, in the house of the Lord, of pure bronze. The king cast them in the neighborhood of the Jordan, in the thickness of the land, in the house of Sokoth, and between Sirdatha. And Solomon made all these utensils in great abundance, because the weight of bronze did not fail. And Solomon made all the utensils of the Lord's house, and the gold altar and the tables, and on them were loaves of presentation, and the lampstands and the lamps of light, as prescribed in front of the debir, of pure gold. And there were their snuffers and their lamps, and the saucers and the censers, and the fire pans of pure gold, and the inner door of the house toward the Holy of Holies, to the doors of the house of the shrine, of gold.